Welcome, everybody, to another episode of HomeKit Insider. You've got me, Andrew O'Hara, and here with the original Florida man, it's Steven Robles. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I don't receive that. There's too much craziness going on in Florida. I'm not Florida man. Originally New York. I'll take New York man. Oh, I don't know.
All of mine froze, so I missed
Oh,
everything you said.
oh, very good. Well, I said very funny things. That's okay. Listen, it is a huge week, and so everything is just it's shoved in the pipe. That's why it's freezing. It's just all the information, all the stuff. And
Must be it. Must be
that's
it.
it. Well, let's do it. We got some follow up, and then of course the big WWDC and all the home stuff. So we're going to get into all of that. We did have one 5-star review who asked a question. Captain Nick from the USA. Thanks for that 5-star review. He asked, "What is the most essential product to include in a smart home?" Just a little question there, not anything too big. What's the most essential product? I would say in Florida, it's my thermostat because it gets really hot and then not as hot, and being able to adjust the temperature on the fly using Siri. I'll take that as my one critical piece of HomeKit. I don't know, Andrew. Can you, off the top of your head, say what is your one essential product to include in your smart home?
I think thermostats are great. I mean, they are very convenient, but they also can help you save money, which is great. But I think for me, it's probably the door lock. It's like a peace of mind thing to knowing like I can look and see that my door is locked, and if it is unlocked by someone who I want or someone who I don't want, I like know about it. So probably the door lock would be up there on my list.
That's good. That's a good one. All right. Well, we're going to move quickly because we got a ton of stuff we got to talk about here. A couple quick follow-up things. We had some listeners write in and on Twitter. First of all, I talked about my LG TV woes, and we don't have time to go into this. Maybe we'll save it for next week. But I did return that TV, Andrew. I actually
Good.
Yes, I took it off the wall, brought it back to Best Buy, and I'm very glad I did because I actually read some reviews on rtings.com, which is a big home theater website. They review products, and they offer you even like settings for your particular TV to make it, the best possible. And I read their reviews on the best budget TVs, the best budget 65-inch TVs. And so I won't go into super detail, but I returned it. I got a Dolby Vision TV for a similar price as that LG one, and the HDMI CEC works. It's all good. So don't stand for broken stuff, even if you have it on the wall. That's what I've learned there. But I will say, Ralph from Luxembourg said he actually had an issue adding his LG TV to HomeKit, and what he realized he had to do was actually go in and accept all the terms and agreements. Apparently there were some terms and agreements that he did not accept on the initial setup, and it wouldn't allow him to add it to HomeKit until he accepted all those. So he went into the settings, accepted whatever agreements were outstanding, and then he was able to add it to HomeKit. So not sure if that will solve if you have that issue, if you can't add your TV to HomeKit or the code changes every time you scan it. But that was something that Ralph did to fix it. So thanks, Ralph. That's good. Wild stuff. And then also one other follow-up. This is Miles on Twitter. We had talked about the SmartWings outdoor shades that has the new solar charging thing. So you can have your shades outside and they're smart and you never have to worry about the battery. Well, he actually has some SmartWing shades for inside his house, and you can use that same solar panel for the inside, for indoor shades. And so he's got some SmartWing shades. He has this little picture. I'll put it as a chapter art here, but the solar panel it just sticks right to the window facing out, and then you never have to worry about charging your thing. And so it's actually a USB-C charger. I'm curious if...
I was just going to say it. I was going to
Yeah.
say it. I was thinking
Okay,
the
you
same
say
thing if they'd work on the Eve ones.
I think they would. I might have to try that. He said it's USB-C, which is the same as the Eve. The Eve is USB-C. So, okay. Very cool. So thank you, Miles, on Twitter. And now, I know we're going to get to all the WWDC stuff. That's why I'm trying to jam through this. So we got a couple little things of news here. Next, Insteon. We talked about Insteon a few weeks ago and how they just mysteriously shuttered their servers. I would say doors, but virtual doors, their servers, and they just stopped working. One of the first HomeKit brands. And then all of a sudden, mysteriously, they're back on. The servers got turned back on. I saw the article in The Verge, and then Lewis, a faithful listener, he emailed me the article. And they're reportedly back online. No official statement from Insteon. Not sure who flipped the switch. I don't know if it was Jack Bauer. I don't know if it was Ethan Hunt. But someone flipped the switch back on for Insteon. And so, unknown. I mean, do we have any more information than that, Andrew?
Not that I've gotten, and I haven't
Yeah.
seen anything else since their servers just coming on backline. Nope, that was backward.
Coming.
Coming on backline.
Andrew's doing a lot of videos this week as we record, so yeah. Yeah, they're backline. No, that's Dieter Bone on Twitter. Anyway, okay. So that's Insteon. Maybe we'll hear from them. Maybe they're back in business. Who knows? We'll see. All right, now we have some news about the Sonos Ray, Sonos' new budget soundbar. What you got, Andrew?
It's officially available. So nothing other than from the announcement, but it's officially available to buy. Yeah, so if you're looking for a budget soundbar, this seems to be one of the good ones that you should consider picking up.
Very cool. I've been really impressed with my Beam, and it sounds great in a bedroom. And so, yeah, I'd be curious to hear the Sonos Ray. I'm sure even for a smaller size, it's probably going to be pretty good. And then you also have some KEF speakers, KEF. What is that about?
Oh man, I love KEF speakers. They're really really nice. It's funny, like sometimes I review fairly expensive speakers, and I get a lot of people like flooding the comments. Oh, this is a terrible premium speaker. You should definitely go with this. Like, you know, those people online. Whenever I review a KEF product, it's always like, I've used these for many, many years, and they're fantastic. So people really like them. And now they are announcing the KEF LSX2. So these are compact hi-fi speakers that work with AirPlay 2. And this second generation one, it's moving to their new W2 wireless platform. It has new HDMI and USB-C, so it's great for desktop computers, it's great for TV systems, does a bunch of awesome stuff. These speakers, I've tested the original LSX, and I loved them. I loved them a lot. And now I'm considering buying the LSX2. Because I never bit the bullet on the original LSX other than testing them for like 6 months and then was very sad to send them back. I might just have to buy these because they're really nice. But yeah, some new AirPlay 2 speakers.
Very cool. Sorry about that. I went black for a second. I don't know if... Thanks for jamming through that. I don't know if you noticed, but my video disappeared. But anyway, no problem there.
It's one of those days. It's going to be bumpy ride, folks.
Never has
Buckle
happened
up.
Before. I have no idea what just happened, but anyway. Don't worry. The audio
Get us back on track, Floto Man.
Yeah, all right. Well, listen, we got a bunch of WWDC news, so we're going to get to that. Let's take one break before we jump into it because we got a ton of stuff. One of our returning sponsors, Hunter Douglas. Hunter Douglas makes incredible smart shades. We're talking about smart shades a lot recently, and Hunter Douglas is one of the great options you can have for HomeKit shades. Live it perfectly in ease and comfort and style. Hunter Douglas can help you do just that. They have innovative shade designs, gorgeous fabrics, control systems so advanced that they can be scheduled automatically to adjust their position throughout the day. And you can diffuse harsh sunlight in your different rooms or cast beautiful glows across the room. You can enjoy the view outside. And listen, now that I've had a smart shade for a little bit, I will say it's really cool just to be able to automate it, put it in different scenes, and schedule it to be able to go up and down as the sun changes height and direction during the day. And you can have superior insulation that the shades provide. And of course, Hunter Douglas has the PowerView technology. Your shades can be set to automatically reposition for the perfect balance of light, privacy, and insulation. Andrew, I know you have some Hunter Douglas shades over there. Tell me something you like about them.
Like you said, I love the ability to automate these. You don't have to like get out of bed to open or close your shades in the morning. You can have them wake you up, which is what I do. I have them wake up in the morning with the sunrise, and it's such a comfy, nice way to wake up. If it is like pitch black in my room, I will sleep all the time. And with the ability to like have those shades open up, it's like just so soothing as you wake up and you're just like ushered into the day and you feel productive already as you get out of bed. They're amazing. And I just did this HomeKit video and I was demoing like one of my scenes that I have where I have like shower time that closes all the blinds in our bathroom and our bedroom as you're getting ready for bed and stuff. So just the ability to control these things from your phone all at once, all together. Plus they have physical controls that you can also get to go with, which is awesome. So yeah, these are very much on the top of my list of like must-have smart home accessories.
Boom. So the Hunter Douglas shades right now for a limited time. You can take advantage of generous rebate savings opportunities on select styles. So visit hunterdouglas.com/HomeKit for details. That's hunterdouglas.com/HomeKit. The link is in the episode description as well. Our thanks to Hunter Douglas for sponsoring this episode. Now, WWDC, as you listen to this, was exactly a week ago, and Home did have a segment. We got some interesting stuff about that, but the first thing that Apple mentioned out the gate was Matter, I'll believe it when I see it. They didn't add the tagline. That's just me. I thought this was hilarious that for the second year in a row, Apple talked about Matter, because they talked about it at last year's WWDC conference as well. And, I mean, it's still not, like, a thing just yet. I don't know. What do you think about this whole, like, Matter plug for the second year in a row?
I mean, okay, it needs to be a thing, because Apple's been, like, testing, working on Matter for some time, and with iOS 15, Matter was beta. Like, they officially announced that, more or less. Like, iOS 15 was the beta of Matter. So it's basically been in beta for this past year, for developers and manufacturers to be testing their accessories with iOS. So with iOS 16, everything is going to be, like, official. It's going to be, like, more or less out of beta and full release mode this fall when Matter is released. We talked about, even though it's, like, been delayed, they've been pretty minor delays. Like, I mean, we're looking right now at maybe a couple months past what they said. Like, they were saying, like, mid 2022, and now it's, like, fall of 2022. So at most it's a couple months behind of where they were targeting. I think it's important for Apple to talk about Matter and, let people know that they are backing it, which I think will give it more credence in the marketplace. And I think you're going to see similar, touting from the other platforms about Matter. We've already seen it. Google was on stage with Eve and others showing how Matter works with its smart home platform. Now here's Apple talking about Matter and its smart home platform. It's going to be nice. I think people need to temper their expectations, is my biggest thing, is because we're not going to get all these new categories. We're not, like, at most right now at launch, there's 130 some devices that are going to be supported with Matter. Some of those devices are already in the home space, so you're not getting like 130 some new HomeKit devices to choose from. You're getting a subset of those that aren't already HomeKit certified. And especially at launch, it seems like it's the big players, so a lot of them are already in that HomeKit space. There's going to be like those controllers that we can use, like the Nest Home Hub, but it's only going to control Matter accessories, and it seems still like there's going to be some stuff to figure out. But I'm excited that Apple is talking about it and taking things seriously.
Yeah, I was curious. I was listening to the ATP guys, and they were saying that during the keynote when they talked about Matter, that the presenter was like, we basically shared the basis or the underlying technologies of HomeKit, and we contributed that to Matter. Now, we've talked a lot about Matter. We had Jennifer Tui from The Verge, and we had I forget his name, but from the Thread group, who was a part of developing all the Matter. And I don't remember ever HomeKit being talked about as one of the like ground frameworks. I really thought it was Thread and those kind of interoperable like frequencies and all that kind of stuff. So did that hit you, or did you catch that, or am I crazy? I mean, you can answer.
Maybe a little crazy. I mean, you're talking about Thread. Like, Thread is not, the platform. Thread is a communication standard that ties everything together. So when you look at what Matter is, it makes more sense, because Matter is like offline, control, local control. That's all HomeKit. Versus, Amazon's Assistant that has to go up to the cloud and send stuff server to server and all that fun stuff. Never a thing with HomeKit. It's not a thing with Matter. So everyone is contributing to Matter. All of these platforms are contributing their code to it. Apple already has that leg up because it's essentially the gold standard of smart homes. So it makes sense that they're going to build Matter on top of a lot of what Apple's done with HomeKit. So it just makes sense that Apple is sharing that, as they are part of that consortium to put this together. So you got like that local control, the non-reliance on those external servers. You have, there's a couple other things too. I mean, Apple was already big into the Thread space. They were one of the few that had a bunch of Thread devices out there, compared to, Amazon and the like. So yeah, I think it makes sense that they were doing that. We knew they were sharing code and contributing everything like that. But the basis of Matter is very much HomeKit. The authentication of devices and all of that, that's very much HomeKit. The way the codes work and scanning and all of that, that's all a lot like HomeKit. So yeah, it's everything. A lot of stuff about Matter is very much designed the same as HomeKit, so it makes sense to me.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, and then the next part of the home segment during the WWDC keynote was, of course, the home app. Apple said the home app is getting a huge upgrade, totally redesigned. And so I know you're having to run all the betas because you're doing videos of all this stuff too. But I too installed the beta on my iPad, and so I'm trying it out, and got it right here. This is the new redesigned home app. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see a picture of the camera in my garage with all of our boxes still from moving. So that's what that is. But new home app, I've been using it obviously since the keynote, and I like it. I think the design is very nice. I like the new home stati that kind of show at the top of the main home screen, and then for different rooms has things like climate, the light security is another segment, speakers and TVs, even water, as like if you have water leak sensors and stuff like that, you can see that status all up at the top. And I think, tell me if this has been your experience, but I feel like tapping an accessory to control it, even if it's just turning it on and off, I feel like it's faster in this new home app compared to the old one. Not even with like non-thread devices, like just my Wemo switches, I've been turning them on and off, and it seems faster than the previous version of the home app. So I don't know, what have been your impressions on the new home app?
Well, yeah, there's a lot to love here. So I think I've been using it a bunch more, and it's definitely different, I feel like, on the iPhone versus the iPad. It's like the same experience, but it just feels a little bit different because you don't have like that sidebar as you're kind of moving between stuff. Overall, I very much like it. I like it a lot. I saw even like Chance Miller, who's from like 9 to 5, he's like, is the home app secretly like the best new feature of iOS 16? And I'm a little inclined to agree because it's really neat all around. So as you said, there's like all those like statuses and whole home overview stuff right at the beginning, but those little like bubbles that show like, you know, security or climate, stuff like that, those are also like filters for your home screen. So like that home screen of the home app, you tap any of them and it filters all of your devices down. So I tap on climate and it just pulls up all my temperature sensors, my humidity sensors, my humidifiers, heater, the window coverings, fans, all of that stuff gets filtered down. So if I'm looking for something specifically, I can like filter by those, and it strips everything else out of your house and just shows those accessories, which is really neat, and it's really fast. So you've got the security devices, which will show like security systems, door locks, occupancy sensors, things like that. There's those new camera views at the beginning, which is really neat to see them like tiled together, and you can see more at once versus how they were before, like stacked up a bunch. So it makes it easier to see and scroll to see all the cameras from your home. I hate pulling up my iPhone while I'm like recording because I'm always worried my AirPods are going to switch over.
Well, as you do
and
that,
it's going to like lose audio.
Yeah. While you do that, I will say I was looking at the automations tab just in case there were new triggers or like sensor actions. I did not see anything new there. I know you got a video going up as we record today. Maybe you have seen some new things there, but I didn't see any new automations as far as I could tell.
No new automation changes, unfortunately. I really was hoping some for cameras, but we didn't really get any of that. With the home app, we have, so the other categories were like lights, and as soon as you tap into them, like if we look at this one, you can see which way is backward. Okay, if this camera would focus for me. So like lights focuses all the lights in the house, and it gives you like how many lights are on, how many outlets are on, and then goes through all the lights. So I love that you get like the status and all those accessories to control. The other ones are security, door locks, stuff like that, speakers and TVs, then water, irrigation systems, those types of deals. Also new to the home app, there's a bunch of new icons. There's like new can light icons, there's new humidifier type icons, there's new outlet icons, just a bunch of new icons for those, as well as new scene icons. Scene icons, come on Apple, why did this take 3 years to do? You had like 6 choices before, so like everything, there was like just no good icon for them. If it wasn't a movie coming, going, sunrise, sunset, there was nothing good to choose from. And now there's a ton. There's a ton of new icons to choose from, and you can choose all their colors. So when they're set, they'll have an appropriate color to go with them. I really like that. There's new wallpapers in the Home app. There's a bunch of gradient ones. There's one with like this diffused field with a sunset going on. Great for that whole home view. I like that. And then all those sections can be rearranged, Steven. That made a big deal because for some reason it was putting like rooms I never used right at the top, and I was really frustrated for the first little bit of time using it. You can rearrange them, that I found out, and I can put them into a better organization. And anything that you don't want to show on your home screen, you can literally like long press on it and hit don't show in home view and hide it from your home view there. So if there's accessories that I kind of tie together or I don't manually control, I can hide them from my home view. So my biggest takeaway from this new home app was I love it, and I need to spend some time organizing this home again so it's not so cluttered. But Apple did say, to your point, that they have improved the underlying architecture of HomeKit, which makes it faster, more reliable, and it's especially true for those with a bunch of accessories. And coming from the Home app, it says if you're controlling, like trying to control a bunch at the same time, that will be more efficient and faster. So that, I think, is kind of what you were talking about, how you're seeing like accessories respond more quickly. Overall, the architecture has been improved, but specifically with the Home app, tapping icons and jumping into accessories is faster than it was before, especially if you're tapping a bunch of them at the same time.
Yeah, I also like the new camera view where you can see up to 4 cameras kind of on that first screen, swipe over, see 4 more. Really convenient, and then you can even jump into the cameras like section and see larger previews of all of them. I think even live. I think if I jump into the cameras, it'll try to keep them updated to like 1 second, and so you can get those pretty cool. I think it's really nice, really beautiful design. I wish there was more automation, maybe more shortcuts, hooks for stuff like that, but it's really cool. I like it. It's good.
Not necessarily in the Home app, but related to new with HomeKit and 16 is we have new lock screen widgets for HomeKit. So now you can put things like a whole home overview, climate sensors, how many lights are on, things like that, and view them all on your lock screen. For me, Steven, I think I have too much stuff to make some of these useful, to be quite honest, because it's always like, oh, you've got 27 lights on or something crazy like that. And it'll be like, I don't know, like a sconce that has like 4 bulbs in it or something, like a ceiling fan light that's got 3 bulbs in it. And they add up so quickly. And they also count like outlets sometimes as those. But I have like things plugged into outlets that I want to be able to make sure that they're on and monitor like energy consumption, like on the fish tank. So I have like filters and stuff plugged into there so I can keep track of that and see how much like electricity they're consuming and make sure they are on. And yeah, and it counts some of those things as like on in your home. So I always have stuff on, or like accent lights that I leave on kind of perpetually that are like colorful or lit up, like some of these background things. They pretty much just don't stay on most of the time. And it's just always like, oh, you've got 6 lights on in your house. And I was like, they're supposed to be, and it just, I think I got too many accessories to make those super useful.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of nice if I was just one of the boring homes and it's like all your lights are off, 5 are on, like just like a normal number of things. Same with switches, hallways, whatever.
I'll tell you what, I want to touch on widgets because there's some things we didn't get when it comes to widgets. But before we do, let's just take our last break and thank our sponsor, Zocdoc. Because listen, it can be a pain in the neck. Pun intended. You need to see a doctor for a pain in the neck. It's also a pain in the yeah, see, Andrew liked that pun. It's also a pain in the neck to find doctors, especially if you're here in the U.S. trying to find doctors, then you're sure they take your insurance. That's a big challenge over here in the States. Well, with ZocDoc, you can find doctors who are in network, and you can make appointments, even see customer reviews right in the ZocDoc app. ZocDoc, it's a free app, shows you the doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them. You can read up on local doctors. Again, you see other people reviewing them, real people. And when you walk into the doctor's office, you're set up to see someone in the network who gets you. Making an appointment trying to call a doctor's office can be crazy. You get the phone trees and all that kind of stuff. And then even then, maybe you're not sure about the insurance. Well, don't do it anymore. Get the free app, Zocdoc. You can book it right there. You can even book virtual appointments, and there are many appointments available as soon as in the next 24 hours. So you can find a doctor that's right for you, works on your schedule, and millions of people use Zocdoc. I actually use Zocdoc as well. I've used it to find doctors because, frankly, it's just the easiest and most seamless way. So I know you've tried Zocdoc in the past too, Andrew. What you think?
I really like virtual appointments. Like, you don't always need to go in and sit in a doctor's office. You have to travel there with gas prices being over $5 some a gallon around these parts. And yeah, who wants to travel to a doctor's office, wait in a waiting room and all that stuff when you can simply be doing it on your phone? So do it on a break, whatever. It's just way more convenient for easy appointments that you don't have to go in for and get any lab or testing done. So I really like the convenience factor here, let alone the insurance factor of it, which is huge. Knowing that before you actually get into the office, and half the time, even when you like call them ahead of time, they're like, yeah, I think so. You go in and it's like, no. So yeah, don't mess around. This is easier.
Right. Well, in the chaotic world of healthcare, let Zocdoc be your trusted guide. Find a quality doctor in a way that is pain-free. So go to Zocdoc.com/HKI to download the free Zocdoc app. It's free. You start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/HKI for HomeKit Insider. Zocdoc.com/HKI. Our thanks to Zocdoc for sponsoring this episode. Now, this is not super HomeKit related, but one of the big first announcements at WWDC were those lock screen customizations. You can customize your lock screen, fonts or whatever, and widgets on the lock screen. And I was like, all right, we're going to talk about widgets. It's going to be awesome. But then we did not get interactive widgets. And what I can tell is we did not get any widgets that can actually control your home or set scenes. There's still no widgets. Now, the widgets on the lock screen of the iPhone, you'll have to tell me exactly what you can choose there because I haven't put the beta on my phone. I only have one iPhone. I'm not risking that just yet, although it's tempting with these custom lock screens. But on the iPad doesn't get lock screen widgets, which seems crazy. I mean, it's a huge canvas for a lock screen. You would think that would be a great place to put a bunch of widgets on the big iPad screen, but iPad does not have lock screen widgets right now. As far as I can tell, no widgets exist still for the home app to control your home stuff. So what exactly can you do with those home widgets on your lock screen?
So there are a few different options. Get into this whole thing.
Let's get into
Customize.
Get into it.
So home, there is climate. It'll have the indoor climate of your house, and that comes in a small and large one. So let's see if I put the large one in and then do the small one. We do the small one. Man, you don't know how hard it is, Steven, to record these videos on a beta. Like, they will fight you every chance they get.
It's crashing.
It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so like, for example, there, if it doesn't like lock my phone before you guys camera focuses. So I've got two there. The first one on the side, the big one, that's like my whole home climate, so it gives me overview of stuff. And the small one, I can tap on and assign to an accessory. So I could assign that to a humidity or a temperature sensor somewhere in the house or in my home that can show there as just a meter, a gauge of value. So aside from those, there's lights and switches. This is one of the ones that I was talking about. And it really, like, there's a large one, and it's like, how many are on? And like, that, to me, isn't super helpful. 14 on. Cool. That's it. Right. You also have security, which I think this one's more useful. It tells you how many doors are unlocked and how many your security system is armed or disarmed. The problem here is it's like doors, 4 unlocked. Thank you. The thing is, one of those is a lock I'm not using right now as I'm testing another one. So say there's 3 that are unlocked. 2 of those are internal doors. I don't care about them in my whole home stats. I want to know if my front door is locked or unlocked while I'm away. So again, it's like I have too many accessories that is a little useless. Just
and you can't
if you have
you can't granularly choose what accessories appear in those widget statuses, right?
For those you can't, like that the small climate one, yes, but like the security issues one, that's a whole home one. It just gives you the whole home overview. That said, there is a small security one that you can tie to a particular accessory. So I will add that one up here. Maybe
But
I'm going
nothing
to
is
add that one, and then I'm
control and
going to add.
accessory. Is that right? This just gives you status, no control.
So here, I'll show you what happens. So here is choosing the accessory. So I tapped on security one. I have all these different security things I can see in my house. So I'm going to choose, you can do garage door. Then I can choose like my level lock. And then the other one is the home summary. So it gives you temperature, gives you the range for your house, lights, and doors. Again, not super useful. Temperature, 62 to 84. That's the temperature range of my house. Some of those are an Eve degree. That's outside. So it's combining the outside temperature with my inside temperature, and it isn't helpful. So stuff like that is just funky still. But anyway, so as you can see, those are my widgets on my lock screen, and I'm going to try to tap. So right now it says my level lock is locked.
You might want to
I tap it, and it... Oh, no. Doing everything backward. Doing things backward.
It's tough.
Things backward are difficult. Okay.
Right, there it
ready?
is.
Tap it. It jumps to the home app and opens up that lock.
Right.
So I can immediately control it from there. So in this case, it was my level lock, my front door. Just tapping it takes me to that door and allows me to control it. So it won't control it instantly from there, but I can tap it and control it instantly. Which I still think is useful to have essentially like a door lock shortcut right there on your home screen.
That is true. That is
lock
true.
screen.
Lock screen, yeah. Okay, I still wish, Apple would let us do like full-on widgets with maybe like 4 buttons that you could have on your iPhone home screen, not even lock screen, maybe just a home screen, just for scenes, set your most used scenes, put them in like a widget. But there's some great third-party apps for widgets and, controlling your home with all that kind of stuff. So they're out there. We've talked about them on past episodes. So any other thoughts before we get to some of the iPad news in the HomeKit and maybe HomePod leaks? I thought that were pretty interesting. Any other thoughts on HomeKit in general or changes that you have found?
Not really. I mean, if you guys want to see more stuff in detail, go check out the video and text that goes through, like, very much in detail the entirety of HomeKit and Home in iOS 16. I think it's better. It's better overall. It's easier to control, faster to control, more customizations for stuff. I really do like the lock screen widgets, and I think Apple will continue to update them or add more options to them, hopefully, over time. The widgets are still just funky. I know Aaron Pierce was on Twitter saying how he doesn't want to offer widgets for his apps because you can't directly control with them. You still have to get there still always has to be a workaround. It's supposed to essentially launch the app, run it, and then close, which is an option to return back to the home screen, which is a near seamless experience, but still has a compromise to it. So I get where he's coming from, that he doesn't want to do anything. And even the ones that showing information like sensors in your house, they're pulling cache data that's not necessarily 100% up to the minute accurate. And some people don't know those things. And I don't know. I'm not sure what Apple's hesitation is. Usually what happens is Android's had stuff like this for ages, but it's also a lot of times taken significant hits on performance. When I would use Android phones and I'd have some interactive fancy widget, it could take a big impact on my phone of constantly refreshing, and there was less limitations on those things. Google has improved this stuff in recent years, but I feel that could be what Apple is still dealing with. They want to really be able to optimize this and put in background system frameworks to allow things to update in more real time. We're finally seeing that with live events, what Apple's bringing to the lock screen for sports, your Uber, your Grubhub order, stuff like that that'll literally track in real time. I'm pretty excited for that, watching your pizza be delivered or something. It's going to be nice, but I feel that's almost the groundwork for real-time widgets. But like you said, something like just toggling a scene shouldn't require an interactive widget. Should be a thing. I don't know why you can't interact in a small space versus in an app. So
And
it
we
could
didn't
just be
get
something
that.
with the underlying architecture. I don't know.
Yeah, and we didn't get that for any kind of widget. So even like your Pocket Cast widget or Overcast widget, like there can't just be a play pause button that you interact with from the home screen. Like tapping the widget still's got to open the full app. If you have to add a to-do to your Things app, you're still going to have to jump into the app. So maybe next year, maybe, I don't know, but I would really love to see some interactive widgets. A couple other updates. The iPad, you used to be able to use an iPad as a home hub. There was a toggle in there in the settings where if you didn't have an Apple TV or a HomePod, that you can use your iPad as a home hub. And it seems that in iPadOS 16, that option is no longer available. And I've actually had not checked on mine personally, but is that also something that you have seen, Andrew? Oh, no, it's right there.
So here's the thing. Apple never said the iPad is no longer available as a home hub. They never said that. Basically, this comes from a footnote that I saw when I was like digging through all the HomeKit changes, and it just says like an Apple TV or HomePod must be used for a home hub or something along those lines. But it isn't like excluding iPads. iPads were never a great choice because they would, consume battery life. They move throughout your house. You need to make sure they were plugged in perpetually to be reliable as that home hub. So they could just be pushing people towards Apple TV and HomePods versus the iPads. But like you just realized, that toggle still exists. If you go into settings on your iPad, go into home, you can still use your iPad as a home hub. Apple could remove this by the time iPadOS 16 ships, but it has not come out and said, like, for sure, iPads cannot be used. It was that footnote. It literally could have been a mistake with that footnote of who wrote it. It could be a number of things. So we're going to have to wait until the release comes. But as of now, the footnote doesn't mention iPad, but the toggle still exists. So
Yeah.
we don't know.
Okay, so that's an unknown. As right now, Beta 1, toggle is still there. So those of you, I know there were some people on Twitter that were like, this is my like traveling home situation and all that kind of stuff, smart home, HomeKit stuff. So looks like at least in Beta 1, toggle is still there. Now I want to talk about HomePod Mini, possible new HomePods coming this fall. The State of the Union video, which is the, kind of the post-keynote, the State of the Union, really geared more towards developers, talking about software. There was a clip where in the background, I'll put this as the chapter art, there is a blurred out seemingly device that looks like a large HomePod Mini. Now, I'm looking at this image right now. It's like a very light pink color and
Starlight? Apple likes to call it Starlight.
Oh, a star. That's a good theory. Maybe a
Could
Starlight
be.
HomePod Mini. It looks bigger, like it's a HomePod Medium instead of Mini. So there's that piece of information. May or may not be anything in the background of this video. And also, in the code of iOS 16, there is mention a Audio Accessory 6. The current HomePod Mini is codenamed Audio Accessory 5. The original HomePod is Audio Accessory 1. And so it seems as though it is referring to a new Audio Accessory 6, that does not yet exist. So, Andrew, do you think that this is a new HomePod device and possibly a larger HomePod device?
Something just seems funny about the fact that there's a set designer out there who designed this for DubDub and just was like, hey, we got one of those unreleased big HomePods that we could put over here. Like, that doesn't seem likely unless they're really trying to screw with people.
I don't think, I mean, listen, these are all pre-produced videos. And so I am sure that Apple takes intricate and detailed care of everything in the frame of this video. And so to think that they would have put an unreleased device and just blurred it out, I highly doubt that to be likely. I think the code in iOS 16 talking about Audio Accessory 6 is more telling, but that's even less of like what it is. Is it a new HomePod color? I don't even know what audio accessory 2 through 4 is. If 1 is the big HomePod, 5 is the HomePod Mini. Do we know what 2 through 4 is?
No, not that I know of.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. So, I mean, of course, Apple will release some new audio device in the future. I think that's pretty certain. Whether or not it's a bigger HomePod or maybe just an updated HomePod, maybe with some other kind of wireless connectivity, a U2 chip. You know, that's something that we've not really talked about before. We now have an M2 chip. The M2 chip launched at WWDC, but there could be updated ultra wideband chips or other kind of like audio processing chips that could just be put into the current HomePod Mini and just it'd be a hardware upgrade. So could be that too. I don't know.
I don't know. Like you said, like, I mean, this is a set. They're filming on a set. Even when they're like in the design labs, there is 0% chance that they just have an unreleased secret product just sitting on a table and they start filming and
zero chance.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. It could just be a freaking planter or a piece of art, but
it could be. And also, like, the depth of field in the shot, like, obviously they're using a camera where the depth of field blurs the background naturally. Like, the desk in the background is blurred. It might just be a depth of field thing. Like, I don't even know if it has to be some kind of blurred in post situation. So I don't know.
It looks like a natural bokeh on that. Like, it doesn't look like anything additional. Just looks like a normal background item sitting there.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can't read into this. I still hope larger HomePod or maybe even HomePod with a screen come this fall, but I don't think these are any signs of that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Quo has said that there's a new HomePod coming. It makes sense we're seeing it here. I mean, we talk about the lock screen. Of course they found code that references an always-on lock screen. The first thing I said as soon as I saw the lock screen widgets was like, wow, that looks super useful for an always-on display. Like, it looks like something for an always-on display, and of course they found code that points to that. If a new HomePod is coming out this fall, as Quo thinks, then yeah, it makes sense we're going to see some code snippets to an unannounced accessory. It makes sense. So
yeah, absolutely.
We'll see.
Well, before we go, Andrew, you got anything else WWDC wise? I know we'll keep playing with the betas, seeing what's going on, but any other news you want to share?
No, I don't think so. I was pretty happy with WW this year. My only disappointment part, which is as a whole, was iPad OS feels very unchanged, like on my iPad Mini, like because you can't even use Center Stage or Stage Manager, so it feels exactly the same on my iPad Mini. Like there's nothing, no widgets, no new interfaces, no external display support, like nothing on the Mini.
Yeah, I had someone tweet at me saying they were looking at buying a Mini because they were coming from smaller Android tablets. They wanted to get an iPad, wanted to get the small size, but so many features, well, not so many, but there are definitely features now that are exclusive to the M1 iPad. And this is something we've talked about before. Is the M1 going to be the distinguishing factor between software features in the future? And now we have that. Stage Manager and the external display support is an M1 only. And so if you're only going to have one iPad in your house, you're only going to own one iPad device, I feel like it's even harder to recommend the iPad Mini, because if you ever want to use Stage Manager or you ever want to plug it into an external display, you're just not going to have those options. And I imagine there will probably be other software features in the future that require M1. In that part of the keynote was also desktop class apps, which Apple talked about new APIs available for developers and other features like customizing toolbars and collaboration type stuff. But I could see other software features being locked to M1 iPads, making that iPad Mini and that base model iPad, unless it's for education, a harder sell, I think.
Yeah, so we'll see.
We'll see. Anyway, more stuff will be coming out in the software and betas each week, so let us know what questions you have about the iOS and iPadOS 16 betas or updates to the Home app. You can tweet at Andrew and myself. Also, drop a 5-star review, and you can share us your question in the review, and we'll do it at the top of the show where we thank our 5-star reviewers. And also, you can watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. We showed a little bit of the Home app today, and Andrew was showing the lock screen widgets. So jump over there, subscribe, and watch us there. And thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Boom. All right.
Boom.